So here we are, Somerset Dam in Queensland. I've never fished a bass lake before. It's something that I've really wanted to do, and what I thought we'd do today is I'll just run you through the process of how to try and find some fish in a new lake. So I've got some spinnerbaits rigged, I've got a crankbait and a blade rigged. The information that I do know is that the fish could be on the edges early in the morning, and then during the day they'll be schooling out deep. So other than that, I haven't really got any info, so it's just going to be a case of working things out, going through the process, and hopefully we can find some fish. Now, I know we're only maybe 500 meters from the boat ramp, but I've just spotted a really nice rock wall, and my train of thought is that we've got a really good point here, and the fish are obviously going to be in deeper water because it's winter. So I'm just going to work along this rock wall, chuck a few spinnerbaits and crankbaits and see if there's some up on the edges early, and we'll just give it a go. I can see a bass on the sounder. All right. I mean, it looks really good. Okay. Now, Justin did tell me Somerset Gold spinnerbait, so we'll see if his theory's right. These are certainly beautiful spinnerbaits. It's always good to be able to pull one straight out of the packet, and it just works beautifully. Yep, that was one. My first hit. Been marking a few fish on the sounder. You just bump the spinnerbait. Will he come back? Yep, got him. That was so good, because I'd had that bite before, and I was just thinking to myself that there's fish on the sounder, I had the bite, it's good depth, and surely I can get one to eat it. And I hope that I've just hooked my first Queensland impoundment bass. There he is. That is just spectacular. I'm really happy about that. That is just awesome. I'm so happy. Get him in the net. Yeah, that is super cool. And he is a fat bass. That is chunky. Look at the belly on it. So I used the train of thought of work the rock walls. It's about, it's 8 meters deep. Everyone was saying about 20 foot. It's winter, the bass are going to be deeper. I just persisted along with the spinnerbait, and I've landed my first Queensland bass. That is really cool. Bass fight so much harder than yellowbelly, and they're such a great fish, and it's no wonder they're so popular with people. That is just awesome. I'm really happy about that. Shows the importance of a stinger. He's just pinned on the stinger there. I'd never fish a spinnerbait without a stinger hook. We'll get him back in. Beautiful fish. That is just epic. And the water at Somerset here is so clear. That is really spectacular. Off he goes. So when I fish lakes like this, where you've got fairly uniform banks, there's something about a point with that bit of wind pushing past. It creates a little bit of current, and it's a really good spot for the fish to hang out. So coming to a new piece of water like this, I rely fairly heavily on my sounder. Now it's not the most fancy sounder, but I know what depth the water is and it'll beep when I go over fish, so I know there's something to catch. Gotta be one around the weed bed. Yep. Oh. I called that and just cast at that weed bed. I was like, man, there's gotta be one there. And it got about halfway back and it just crunched it. But I missed it. It was awesome. It just looks like such a likely spot. Alright, I'm marking a lot of fish down near the bottom, so we're going to try a bloodworm grub on a 1/4 ounce head, because what I have found, there is nothing that won't eat a bloodworm grub. I'll rig one up and see what happens. It was good. It scented up. Good stuff, but man, it is smelly. All right. Wow, there's a lot of fish down there. Well, I'm seeing plenty of fish, doing a mix between just working forward with the spinnerbait. I've seen a lot of fish on the sounder, which I'm working with the grub, but kind of wondering, because all the bites I've had along the edge, I would have definitely got my grub over some of those fish on the sounder, and I'm just wondering whether they're fish, you know, that are not really biting, but the ones that are moving onto the edge are biting. So I'm just going to keep working along, putting the lure in the right places, and I'm sure I can pin another one. Alright, we've made it up to the top of the lake. It is certainly getting warmer, that's why I had to take my bib off. But we've just been driving around for a little while, looking at the sounder. We're actually out in the middle of the lake, but there's an old riverbed and then it comes up onto some flats and stuff. And I've just marked a big school of bait. So what I'm going to do is going to drop one plastic down, make it hit the bottom, and lift it up like 1 or 2 meters, and then I'm going to cast my blade around and just search out here while the sun's really high. The edge bite's definitely stopped, so change of tactics and hopefully can find another fish. There's plenty on the sounder. I know whether they just had a knock. There is heaps of fish there. Yep, another one. Yep, missed him. That was a good bite. They just come up on the sounder. I was just thinking to myself, man, there is a lot of fish down there. And I had one grab it, and then I had another one that's twisted the line around onto it. But that's so cool. There is a heap of bass down there. That's really, really cool. So I'm not sure whether the bass are like our snapper at home when you drop a fish and the whole school spooks, but I cannot find them at the moment. So what I'm doing, I'm just using the petrol, cruising around, covering a bit more water, and hopefully I can find that school again. Yep. Yes! It took me ages to find those fish again, but it just goes to show you that it's so similar to our snapper fishing at home. and I just cruised around on the petrol, just found the big school of fish again, and they're actually holding on some bait. And what I did is I had that bite on the blade before, but this one I've caught on a little slim swim. That's a bit of a tongue twister, on a 1/4 ounce jig head, and that was really, really cool. I didn't want to leave these fish because I knew they were down there. I knew it was just a case of finding them again, and I'm so glad I didn't. And check out that. That is just awesome. That is so cool. So cool. Really happy with that. Really happy with that. Oh, that is a big bass. And I'd heard a lot about this sounding up schools in the winter time. It's a really popular technique. And check out this fish. That is spectacular. Just a perfect big Queensland bass. That is just beautiful, beautiful fish. I just love it when a plan comes together. That was epic. Just pop this hook out. Just perfectly pinned in his nose. We'll get him back in the water. There's more on the sounder too. Oh, off you go, buddy. Away he goes. Yeah, that was really cool. Really, really happy with that. We're back down to where we started this morning. I'd love to finish on another fish, but you know, it's been a really cool day. It's always so interesting exploring a new bit of water, and to get a fish doing both techniques has been really, really rewarding. So I'm just going to work my way along here. We have to be out of the park by about, I think it was 5:30, they locked the gates up. So I'm going to burn through this, see if I can't get another bite, but it's been a really, really cool day on Somerset nonetheless.